What's happening, guys? Dan Debenham here, and today we're back on the After Effects trail again. It's brilliant. It's a fantastic program, and this is in the series of After Effects on the playlist that's just taking you up that little bit step further towards being able to competently use it and to be able to do anything you need to be able to do in there from a VFX point of view. This is an actual effect rather than just a little bit of animation that we've been doing previously in the other videos. I'll put a link up to the last one here, and there is a link to the playlist as well. I'll stick that up as well. This is basically just taking it to that next level. What we're going to do today, we're going to make a neon sign. It's going to have a shadow. It's going to have a reflection. It's going to have a 3D ground, etc. We're going to use layered effects to make this possible, and then it's going to blink on and off. You can adjust the blinking rate to your own taste, but for me, I'm just going to show you how to do it. So without further ado, let's get into After Effects. Let's give it a go. Okay, so we're in After Effects. We've got all our sign text written on there. We're ready to make our glow effect on this particular bit of text. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to Effect. We're going to select our text. We're going to go up to Effect, and we're going to go to, let's go to Perspective, and then we're going to go to Drop Shadow. We're going to add a drop shadow, and we're not going to go to glow straight away. We're going to start off by preparing the text for the glow. So we're going to pick a colour that you want. This is the colour you're going to want it to glow. So for me, I'm going to go with pink because we can see it off this black background. And you can see from this point here, you can see there is a little bit of a pink glow around the edge. Okay, so we're going to select the distance and we're going to drop that to 0, and we're going to put the softness around the 20 mark. So I'm just going to type in 20 there, and that's going to give us a tiny bit of a glow around the edge of our text. But it's not quite enough yet. There isn't quite enough there. So we're going to add another one, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to Edit. We're going to go to Duplicate. So we've got that drop shadow selected, and we'll duplicate it again, and we're going to leave all the settings the same with the exception of the softness, and we're going to bump that up to around the sort of 80 mark or thereabouts. And that's going to give us a little bit more of a glow. It's going to help us along the way when we get to actually start to adding things into our text. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to Effect, Stylize, and then we're going to add a glow. And that's going to pump up the glow in our text straight away. You're going to see an instant reaction to that. It's going to be a good glow there, but it's still not perfect. Now, as you can see from this text here, it's glowing pink around the edges, but there's still quite a bit of white in the middle. And the reason it's glowing white is because that is coming from the text, and our text was white in the first place. Now, if we change the colour A in the glow, which is the colour that we're going to want it to be, and we push that to pink and click OK, it's still glowing white. Now, what I like to do is I like to go to the glow colours, and I like to set it to A, B, and B colours, and then I also like to go to the colour looping, and I like to make it the sawtooth B over A. And what that does is that just makes that text a little bit more pink inside. It just gives it that tiny little bit more of a pink glow and lets it look a little bit more like a neon sign. So what we'll do is we'll increase the glow intensity just by a little, so say maybe up to sort of 2.5 or thereabouts. As you can see, it started to glow it a little bit more. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate our glow effect as well. So we're going to add another glow effect in, which is going to make an instant bump to our sign. So we've got that new sign in now. We've got that new glow in there now. So we've got glow 1 and glow 2. So what we can do now is we're going to get to the radius, and I'm just going to increase that to about 150 or thereabouts. And that's going to add a real nice sort of backlit glow to this neon text. It's going to look a little bit more neon immediately. The minute that you do that, you're going to see a great difference in what you've done. So I'm going to increase the threshold as well to around about 70, 75. So I'm going to try 70, see what that looks like. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's go up to 80 and see what 80 looks like. Yeah, I think probably stick around the 75 mark. Let's meet in the middle and do 75. And that's just going to get the threshold. So the glow threshold is going to be a little bit more. It's going to throw a little bit more out there. It's still good, it looks nice, but we're still not happy with it. It still needs to look a little bit better. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to Effects, I'm going to go to Stylize, and I'm going to add another glow, but I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to leave it as it is. We're not going to touch the settings on that at all. So that's glow 1, glow 2, and glow 3. Glow 3 is just going to be basically a new glow added on top of the other two that we've already changed the settings. Now I'm going to leave that as it is. It's got a nice, strong glow to it. Looks really, really cool, and it's looking really, really nice, that. So I'm going to come down to the neon sign here, and I'm going to duplicate it. So we've got neon sign and neon sign 2. I'm going to drop neon sign 2 below it, and then I'm going to come in to the effects here, and I'm just going to delete everything that's in here. And the reason we're doing that is because what we're going to do is we're going to go up to effect on here. We're going to go to blur and sharpen, and I'm going to add a CC radial fast blur to that. And that's going to give us a little bit of a boost. So if I click the amount up here, look, you'll see that we're getting these nice lines that come out from the sign itself. So I'm going to bump that up to around about the sort of 60, 63, 64 mark, thereabouts. I'm going to add a keyframe for center here. I'm going to move it along, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the lines about. There we go. And we'll just leave that as it is there. That's working perfectly fine now. So you can see it's just got that little bit of movement to it. There is a little bit of something happening from the sign itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab both our titles and we're going to go to layer, and then we're going to go pre-compose, and we're going to call this title. And the reason we're going to do that is because we want to package that up as one single thing. Okay, so what we're going to do is we've pre-composed that. We can add something into the bottom here, which is the floor. We're going to put something in so that what can essentially happen is it will allow us to give some kind of reflection to it. So we're going to get some texture. You can get that from Google or wherever. Just type in concrete floor texture or whatever it is texture you want, wood, whatever it is you want to do, you can have. I'm going to drag that into our comp here. And what we're going to do is we're going to make this larger in size. So we're just going to drag it up in size. I'm going to make it a 3D layer. I'm going to go to the X part, X rotation, and we're going to rotate it down to around a sort of, I don't know, 80-ish mark, somewhere around that mark. And then we're going to just bring that into place here. And we're going to make sure that it fits and is sort of behind our neon sign. So there we go. So we've got that in place there. That's all cool. We're all good with that now. What we're going to do with this is we are going to add an effect. We're going to color correct it. So we're going to add tint, like so. And we're also going to add in, let's add in color correction. Let's add in levels. So we'll get the levels in and effect, color correction. Let's add the curves in. In fact, let's get rid of levels altogether. While we're here, let's not bother with those. So I'm going to grab the middle here, which is basically the midtones. So you've got the highlights, the lowlights, so that's the darks, the lights, and the midtones. And I'm just going to line this up a little bit. And there is a reason for that, basically. You need to make sure that it stands off and is useful and can be seen when we come to duplicate the text. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to go to layer and pre-compose, and I'm going to call this floor, and move all attributes into a new composition. Click OK, and that gives us the floor and title compositions. Okay, so once we've done that, we've got that all in sorted and we're all good. We can go to layer, and then we can go to let's have a look where we're going to transform. So layer, transform, and then flip vertically. So we've got that layer flipped vertically, and then what we can do is we can bring that down and we can put it just below, like so. Okay, so we've got that down there, and that's all good, and that's no problem at all. We're all good with that. Now what we can do is we can go up to layer, new, and then we'll stick an adjustment layer in, and we'll put that in between the floor and the title. Just make sure we've got the right one selected. So that wants to be below, that wants to be there,
So we've got one between the other, and then we'll go to Effect, Blur and Sharpen, and then we'll stick a compound blur on, like so. And that's going to give us a compound blur, and then what we can do is we can make that as blurry as we like. What we're going to try and do is we're going to just sort of give it around the sort of 20-ish mark, maybe, like so. And we're going to change the blur layer. We're going to change that to floor, so we get that nice little sort of textured floor. So it's going to use the floor as the adjustment for the blur. And effectively what you've got there now is you've got a blur that is, in essence, situated over the top of the floor. Okay, so if we invert the blur and then we just check up, we just increase the maximum blur, what we can get is we can get that sort of wet kind of concrete floor look where you've got a blur, and we'll just pull that right up so you can still see what the sign says. It's almost slightly see what the sign says, but it's not actually clear. So when we were talking about the floor before, and we're talking about the curves and what have you, maybe just make it slightly darker, and then if we go back into our comp, you can see that it makes a massive difference. What we can do is if I just bring this right up, you'll see what I mean. So go back to this here, you can see it's hugely bright now, but if I go back to the floor, what we'll do is we'll just bring that down and just give it a little bit, and that's going to bring in a little bit more of the texture. And that's why you're adding in that that curves and that tint and all the rest of it. You're adding that in there to give you that ability to adjust the blur on this bottom set of text to give that effect. That just dials in that effect just that little bit more. Okay, so let's say we want to have a little bit more fun with this, and we want to sort of get this to flicker, and we want to make it look a little bit more like a neon sign, so it's sort of like, you know, flickering on. It's not quite on there all the time. So what we're going to do is we'll go to our title there. So we've got our titles here, and we've got neon sign 2. This one's the one with all the blur glows in, then you've got the radial fast blur and what have you. So what we'll do is click on the bottom one, and we'll just duplicate the bottom one again. So we've got neon sign 2, neon sign 3, and we'll just delete the radial fast blur off that. We'll go over to this bit here, to the colours, so you've got character and into where your colours are, and we're just going to give this a dark colour. So we're going to say this one is sort of a dark grey type colour. Then what we'll do is we'll go up to the neon sign, the one with all the drop shadows and the glows and whatever, that's your top one. So you've got all your effects all in there. So we're going to come down here to the top neon sign that you've got, so the top layer of text that you've got. We're going to open it up. We're going to go to animate, and then we're going to add an opacity layer to it. Now, what we can do here is we can turn the opacity right down, and that basically will turn that sign off. So it's, as you can see, you go right up to 100%, and we can turn that right off and right back down again. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Range Selector. We're going to turn the opacity down to 0, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the offset, and we're going to pull that up to 100%, like so. From that point on, what we can do then is we can click the offset stopwatch, like so, and then we'll just move it along a little bit, and we'll turn off some of the sign, and we'll randomly do that. We'll just move that down to there, like so, and we'll just do this all the way along for your animation in different areas. To 100% there. Okay, let's move it all the way down to 0. Let's type 0 in there, so it'll be easier than trying to find 0. Move it back up again. So let's have Neo. A bit of an homage to the Matrix there. And then we'll go all the way back up to 100 for that there. Now the next thing we can do is we want to animate that as a randomized seed. What we can do is go into advanced, and then if we go down to random order, you'll see it says it's off. What we can do is we can click random order on, and what that will do is that will randomize the order in which it is turned off. So you can see it's turned the I off on this now, and then the G is going off now, and it will randomise what actually happens with your text. So if we go back into our main comp here, as you can see, from our main comp, basically what we've got here is we've got a text that is popping on and off the screen like a neon sign. It's just twiddling around, and it will just continue doing that for the life of your animation.
What a fantastic effect. What a brilliant effect to use. It's so easy to do if you know where to click and what to click. And from this tutorial, you should know pretty much how to replicate that. It is a great way of doing things. It just gives you an idea that within After Effects, you use more than one of the same instance in order to create the same a particular effect. You don't necessarily need to just add one thing in and then sort of mess about and adjust, and you're limited. You can keep adding them in until you get the effect that you want. It is such a powerful program. We will go all the way up to Trapco Particular and so on, and we'll do some stuff where we're shooting proper scenes and adding actual VFX to that. But for now, that is basically where we're at. We're taking it step by step. It's baby steps with these things. It's a massive program. It's a massive deal to get your head around, and we'll do our best to try and sort of guide you through that. It is such a great program, and I absolutely love using it. It's just the creativity is just mind blown. If you can think it, you can do it in After Effects. It's absolutely amazing. So with that, hope you enjoyed it. Do please like and subscribe below. Do please hit the bell button. Do leave a comment. I'm sure I'll try and get back to all of you. Those that comment, I will try and get back to you, as I always do try and get back to you. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter for more updates on what we're doing and where we're going and what we're doing and how we're doing it. And I will see you guys next time. Peace!